Good morning and welcome again to Singapore. We are here for the last day of action at the Toyota World Para Swimming Championship Singapore 2025. Here are some of the sights of this wonderful host city for these World Championships. What a place for the 7 days of competition. And we have had 6 days so far here in Singapore. At the OCBC Aquatic Centre, we are on the final day of competition, and as always with heat swims sessions, it's heats all the way. We'll try and make it through to those finals tonight, where another 23 medals will be awarded, another 23 world champions will be crowned. My name's Paul Noble, I'll be taking you through the action, and alongside me, as she has been all week, is Liz Johnson.
Good morning for one final time.
Yeah, it's been a good championships. Liz, 7 days of competition. This is day number 7, and yeah, we had some great races, haven't we? Some great contests and some record-breaking performances as well.
Yeah, we've had some super close races, some surprises, some Paralympic champions locked out, lots of regional records, people breaking world records and finishing in silver position. We're up to 20 world records this week, which year after Paralympic Games, very impressive. We still got some opportunity for some more world records today as well.
We have, and there's of course some people we haven't seen all week. Their specialist events are today, and there's what we are looking forward to this morning for the heats. Again, as I said, heats all the way, trying to make it into those medal finals tonight. Breaststroke start us off. We've got the 50 events a little bit in the centre of the programme. Some hundreds as well, and a couple of 200s this morning, 200 freestyle, 200 individual medley, and then we finish the session with some of the other 100 events. Of course, there's a range of classifications and a range of distances, a range of strokes. S1 to 10 are those classifications for the physical impairment. We have S11 to 13, those with a visual impairment, and S14, those with an intellectual impairment. And there we see, Liz, the call room, where the swimmers will gather before coming out for their race. These are some of the breaststrokers. I think that's the second heat of that SP8 breaststroke.
Yeah, so the call room is just around the back of where we see the swimmers walk out. They report their 20 minutes before their published start time for the race. And you have to go in, even if you're in heat 2, you have to turn up by the time for heat 1. And then, yeah, you line up, you can stretch, you can chill, you can lie on the floor, you can do whatever you need to do once you're in that room. You have to be there by the published time or you don't get to race.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happened this week, but it certainly happened in the past. We've heard the stories about people not showing up on time, and the officials say, no, sorry, you're too late, don't get a swim. Even if you're a minute late, 30 seconds late, that's it.
There's someone on the door, yeah. So one of the officials will be on the door. But in the finals, typically, the first reserve and the second reserve are stood outside the door waiting for your opportunity.
Yes,
if someone doesn't turn up, they're straight in to sign in. So.
Yeah, we saw a couple of reserves last night swim in the finals. And we'll see what we're going to get today, see who's going to qualify. I think it's China still lead, you were telling me, in the medal table, Liz. Just though, it's very close, isn't it, in terms of medals?
Very close. China, Ukraine have had a good couple of nights and it's really jumped them up the table.
So here is the first heat that we will see this morning, and it's the women's 100 breaststroke SP8 heat 1. Brock Whiston, the world record holder from Great Britain, goes in lane number 4. And as we're going through the events, all the events will be prefixed with an S, which signifies it's a swimming event. We'll have SB events, which are the breaststroke events, and SM events, which are the medley events. All the other strokes will just have a single S prefix. So for this first heat, 5 swimmers in the first heat. We have 6 swimmers in the second. They will drop down to 8 for the 8 finalists. So the fastest 8 times from the 2 heats combined. will be making their way to the final. There's Brock Whiston. Good day yesterday, taking gold in the individual medley. Also a silver and bronze medalist here this week, the Great Britain swimmer. Great Britain also pretty high up the medal table. There's probably about 6 nations or so. They're only separated by a couple of medals in terms of these medal standings. So Brock Whiston goes in the middle. Line up for this one. Elena Kliachina, neutral para-athlete in lane number 2. Zhu Hu, already a medalist at these championships as well. Bronze in the individual medley for China. She goes in lane number 3. Brock Whiston, world record holder. That was set back in 2019 at the World Championships. And that she goes in lane number 4. Noraya Marcus Soto had a great swim yesterday to take silver in the backstroke. She goes in lane number 5. And World Championship bronze medalist from 2017, Efima Gakuli from Greece, completes the lineup in lane 6.
Well, Elena Kliachina got off to a very good start right at the top there in that pink hat, the neutral para-athlete. She's going well in the early stages, as is Zhu. Brock Whiston definitely got the potential to be the fastest breaststroker in this field by a long way. She set a world record 1:13.8 from London in 2019. But it was Zhu that turned first. Dead heat there with Kliachina. We said they were going well. 40.77 ahead of Marcus Soto, who had a brilliant performance in the 100 meters backstroke last night. Huge best time for her. She was delighted to take the silver medal. Whiston turning fourth, but she's starting to come through strongly now.
Yeah, Kliachina with that pink cap right at the top. Coming under threat now from Zhu and from Whiston, who just comes through in the centre. Eases through to the front of the field, Brock Whiston, and 1:26.94. So comfortable swim from the Great Britain swimmer. And she's followed home by Zhu and Kliachina, with Marcus Soto 1:29.01 ahead of Gakuli, who swims in 1:32.10. So that's your top 4, but Brock Whiston looked good there in the closing stages.
Yeah, she's slow to react to the signal, but she's got a lot of power off the block, and she sort of let the others take her out to 50 and then really work that second half of the race. We could see her breathing quite heavily, but that's because I think she did work that second half, test herself for tonight.
So the result is confirmed of this first heat, the women's 100 breaststroke SB8. Brock Whiston from Great Britain takes it ahead of Zhu and Kliachina. So that's the target for the second heat. Paralympic champion from Spain will go in this one, Anastasia Dimitriev. There is a lineup. Paula Novina from Croatia will go in lane number 2. Adelina Radetstonova, Olympic Games bronze medalist in Tokyo. She will go in lane number 3. Anastasia Dimitriev, great record in recent years. Twice a world champion and the reigning Paralympic champion as well, the Spanish swimmer. Victoria Ishilova was bronze medalist in Paris last year. Usnako Kandakwe from Uganda, getting great starts in all of her events and been in African record-breaking form. The Ugandan going in lane number 6. And Emma Micic from Croatia completes the lineup in lane number 7. She had a great swim in the 400 freestyle, takes silver a couple of days ago.
Yeah, we don't often see Micic in the breaststroke. She's down in lane 7. Expect the action from the middle. In your shot now, it is Dimitriev. We've talked about teenagers at these World Championships. All of that experience, all of that success, and the Spaniard's still only 17 years old. 39.84 at the turn, ahead of that fast start from Kulkandaki, 41.59, with Rosette Danova in third at the turn, 42.45. But Dimitrov really is a talent. She's really started developing her other strokes, but she burst onto the scene as a breaststroker and fitted right in on the global stage. Kukundwaki still going well in 6.
Yeah, Kukundakwe is clear in second. Rosette Danova also looking good there in lane number 3, but Dimitrov is going to be into the wall first, and she will take the touch. 1:26.49, so that's just half a second faster than Brock Whiston in the first heat. It was second, 1:28.54 for Kukundakwe, and in third position, Rosette Danova. Neutral para athlete, 1:29.59. They should be safely into the final, Liz.
Yeah, the swimmers in the middle there, we can see off the block a lot similar and more matched in terms of impairment in this heat. All those athletes in the middle lane looking, so they've got similar strokes. There's Dimitrov at the turn. She really is a class act in this breaststroke.
Yeah, she had a great anchor leg of the relay when the Spanish team won that very exciting 34-point relay. She wasn't on the breaststroke then, she was on the freestyle anchor leg, wasn't she? And did a great job for the Spanish team.
Yeah, we've talked about how in these relays you've got to make your combinations work and got to go where the team needs you, and the youngster delivered. It was very tight at the end, but
very tight indeed.
These relays have all been exciting.
School kids are in again this morning, as they have been all week. Fantastic atmosphere for these heat sessions. Anastasia Dimitrov takes the top spot into that final. Brock Whiston will be there. Zhu, Leakina, Kukundakwe, Marcus Soto, Rosette Danova and Ishilova. Those will be the qualifiers. Novina and Gakuli will miss out, as will Emma Micic. So big names through in the women's 100 breaststroke SB8. Men's 100 breaststroke SB8 coming up now. And the gold medalist at the 2022 World Championships, Chilean Vicente Almonacid Hale, will go in the centre lane. Won Chile's first gold medal at the World Championships, World Para Swimming Championships. Line up for this one, Carlos Martinez Fernandez, the Spanish swimmer, goes in lane number 2. Joshua Wilmer, top of the world rankings this year, the New Zealander, Commonwealth Games champion. He goes in lane number 3. Vicente Almonacid Hale, world champion in 22, silver medalist in 2023. He goes in lane number 4. Oscar Salguero Galisteo, he was the world champion back in 2017. Twice he's been a silver medalist as well. And Andres Onea took a world championship medal in 2022, bronze medal. That was his second world championship medal. He took one way back in 2015. The Austrian. Here we go, closest to us. In lane number 6. Almonacid Hale will probably start as the favourite. Andres Onea got off to a good start as well, as did Oscar Salguero Galisteo. And Andres Onea, we saw him, we've only seen him in the individual medley, but he had a very good breaststroke part of that IM, didn't he?
He did. Other athletes, Wilma, Almonacid Hale, this is the first time we are seeing them. And Salguero Galisteo did swim in that Spanish relay, but this is the first individual event for him too. So very much the breaststroke specialist out in force. Wilma break down the first 50, 33.05, ahead of Salguero Galisteo, 34.01, who's exactly ahead of that second ahead of that fast start from Onea. But watch the centre lanes now. Wilma looking very good here. Like I said, he's been waiting all week for this moment. He's got that high stroke rate. Swimmer from New Zealand. He's going well.
Yes, he tops the world rankings this year. 1:12.52 was that world best time for Wilma. And he is going to be into the wall now. It's going to be faster than that, I think. in 1:11.08. Well, great swim from the New Zealander. That was an excellent swim there from him. In second position, it was Salguero Galisteo, Andres Onea in third place. But yeah, good stuff there from the young New Zealander.
Yeah, the 20-year-old really attacked that down the first 50, held on to it well, opened up his advantage ever so slightly. He'll have to repeat that, see, in the final. Still another heat to come as well, but he's given himself an excellent chance. New Zealand team, it's small. They've picked up a few medals already this week, and Wilmot be looking to add to that.
Yeah, nod of the head there for Josh Wilmot. Great swim from the young man, Commonwealth Games champion. He wins that first heat, 1:11.08. Salguero Galisteo, Onea, Martinez Fernandez, the world champion from 2022, in 5th place in that heat. In real danger of not making it through to the final. There is the lineup for heat number 2. World record holder Andre Kalina, neutral para athlete. He goes in lane number 4. Line up Mohammed, Malaysia, in 2. Smirnov, neutral para athlete, in 3. Kalina, 5 times he's been a world champion in this event, going all the way back to 2006. Hodge for Australia goes in 5. Lixor, Estonia, in 6. And Kawabuchi from Japan in lane number 7.
Well, we did see Kalina right at the start of the week, but he took that medley very easy indeed. The neutral para athlete in 4 has been something else for decades in this breaststroke. He still manages, he's such a technician, still manages to pull out the performances, and he's turned first 33.12 ahead of Smirnov, the other neutral para athlete, 33.62, and then Hodge 34.25 ahead of Lixor. Kalina, he's always been such a great executor, and he goes through the 75 meters in the lead.
And well, he's got such a longevity in this event. Andre Kalina, we saw him in the individual medley, and he just kind of stroked in on the individual medley, but here is what he was aiming for this week. Andre Kalina is coming in to the wall first, ahead of Smirnov in second place, 1:10.84 for the world record holder. Not a bad time at all, and he now goes to the top of the world rankings this year. Smirnov will be in second. Hodge should make the final with 1:12.91. Mohammed will be in 4th position. That might be good enough for him to make the final, just 7 100ths ahead of Lixor from Estonia. But what about Andre Kalina? He's still there, still competing many, many years after his first world championship.
He's so consistent. We talk about his first world championship. He went 1:09.6 to win that title back in Durban in 2006. And he's just gone 1:10.8 in a heat 19 years later. He is, like you said, look at that height that he gets. He's so good. It's textbook breaststroke.
Well, he competed in the World Championships way back in 2002. He took a silver medal in 2002, and well, he's back again in 2025 and still at the top of the rankings as they go into the final. Wilmot will be in second. Smirnov, Salguero Galisteo, Hodge, Onea, Mohammed, and Lixor does make it just ahead of Martinez Fernandez, but the world champion from 2022, Almonacid Hale of Chile, will not be in that final. So one of the big names not making it, Liv.
Well, we've talked all week about the importance of these heats and the fact you just need 8 lanes into the final. God, pick one of them, you've got to be in it to win it, and there's always someone that misses out, and this time it is Almonacid Hale.
The women's 100 metres backstroke, S10. Bianca Pat has dominated this event, the Hungarian Paralympic champion and world champion in recent years. She goes in lane number 4. Okay, we've only got 9 in this one, Liz, so we only got to lose 1 swimmer.
Yeah, will typically mean that we don't see everyone going all out, showing all their cards from those middle lanes. We've seen definitely Kurt of Turkey swim some quick heats from the outside lanes. So keep an eye out for her. We haven't really seen much for a backstroke other than on the individual medley. She has been a revelation this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Full lineup, Galadze from Georgia. The 14-year-old goes in lane 0 right at the top of your screen. Hunsinger from Canada took a medal in 50 freestyle earlier this week. She goes in lane number 1. Taylor Winnett, Pan American champion in 2. Jasmine Greenwood, Australia in 3. Bianca Pat,
Take your marks.
Paralympic champion, goes in lane number 4. Katie Cosgrove from Canada goes in 5. Emily Pierre in 6. Paralympic bronze medalist. Daphne Kurt goes in 7, 1 lane from the bottom, and Freya Christ right at the bottom will go in lane number 8.
Well, Greenwood in that gold cap of Australia got a lot of height on the block there and got a good start in lane 3, but now it's a bit spread out over the pool. Katie Cosgrove of Canada going well in 5, and Daphne Kurt down in 7 for Turkey. It will be Kurt 32.45 ahead of Cosgrove 32.88, with Pat 33.78 just ahead of Greenwood. As said, it's a bit spread out at the moment. We've only got to drop one swimmer, and the swimmers in the centre looking comfortable.
Yeah, certainly are. It's a fairly comfortable qualification for most of the swimmers in this heat, but well, Daphne Kurt is not holding back at all. She's going there in lane number 7. Katie Cosgrove is going to be in with her as well, and it will be Daphne Kurt 107 at .82 for her. And again, Liz, that's the fastest time in the year. Cosgrove also inside the fastest time of the year, which she held. So 2 good times at the front of the field. Bianca Pat finished strongly in 108.99 for 3rd. But Daphne Kurt, well, she's been a revelation in this classification this week. 4 gold medals already.
Yeah, she's breathing quite heavily there. She has had a busy program. Once again, with the schedule in the S10s, had a rather late night last night. They were near the end of the program. They were up early this morning due to the fact there's a lot of direct finals. But she looked strong. There we can see her and Cosgrove going literally stroke for stroke.
Oh, is there in formation there, weren't they? Synchronised swimming for a second. Daphne Kurt into the wall, just a couple of tenths ahead of Katie Cosgrove. They'll be side by side in that final tonight. This result is confirmed. Daphne Kurt will lead them through into the final. Cosgrove will be in 2nd place. Bianca Pat will be in one of the middle lanes as well. Greenwood, Pierre, Winnett, Hunsinger and Christ, that will be the finalists. Galadze is the one to miss out, the Georgian. Well, again, we've got a similar situation for the men's, Liz. And these 100 backstroke, just 1 heat. 9 swimmers will take the start, and we only have to lose 1. And there's some experienced names in there. So again, we don't expect to see some very fast performances. But they don't need to go fast, but sometimes some swimmers, decide, we'll blow it out in the heat, see what we've got.
I think we might only have 8 swimmers, We've
got DNS, possibly. I will find out. It's due to be Al Harbi, Saudi Arabian. In lane 0. I don't think he's taking the start. So that's making it pretty simple qualification. Fidalgo, Nemchenko, Menciotti, Van der Voort, Gallagher, Taken, Popov and Cordero. That's the lineup for this S10. It's the S10 classification, swimmers with a minimal physical impairment. And we've seen a number of these swimmers have good performances this week. Nemchenko 4 medals to his name. He goes in lane number 2.
Take your marks.
Gallagher, medalist for Australia at the last Paralympic Games, won a silver in the 50 freestyle way back on day 1 of competition. Bastaken, Netherlands in lane 6, had that excellent win in the 400 freestyle. So, well, these swimmers with that withdrawal will know that they are going to go through to that final. But what will be the tactics then, Liz? You know you're going through to the final.
Well, we've talked about if you slow your stroke down too much, sometimes it really can affect your body position. Olivier van der Voort, who see go over there in 28.19 for the Netherlands, he'll probably give it a hit out anyway, because this is the first time we are seeing him this week. This is his one and only event. He's very much a backstroke specialist, and we can see he is doing exactly that. But it's all very tight behind him. Those swimmers have had busy programs. You can see Tommy Gallagher, Australia, not even in the shot because he's taking it easy. But it will be Van der Voort 58.8. He did not take it easy.
He did not. Great swim from Netherlands swimmer. Popov comes in 2nd place and Bastaken in 3rd. So Netherlands are 1 and 3. And as you said, Liz, Gallagher just stroking through in for 8th place. He knew he was guaranteed a place in the final. And he'll be in lane 8 in that final. But Paralympic bronze medalist Gallagher, well, he could pose a threat from there, can't he?
Well, yeah, we've seen this all week, people qualifying. Like, I don't know how many more times we can say it, but you just need to be in it to have a chance of winning it. And as soon as that DNS occurred, then these athletes knew exactly what was required of them. And it's smart swimming, because that 100 metres freestyle was, like I said, at the back of the programme last night, and Gallagher took it out really quick down the first 50, so you're probably just using this as a bit of a flush out.
Olivier van der Voort takes that one and only heat of the 100 backstroke S10. Stanislav Popov in 2nd, Bastaken in 3rd, but all of the 8 starters will qualify for that final tonight.
Well, Van der Voort, that was quicker than he went to win gold in Paris last year. He is so consistent. We talk about these specialists being consistent. We talk about Kalina in the SB8. Van der Voort's another one, isn't he?
He certainly is. And there's a lot about the comeback for Van der Voort last year in 2024. Let's see, he did swim in Rio in 16, and then we didn't see him again until 2024. But it was some comeback, Paralympic gold medal. Well, next heat is on its way out. We have the S11 400 metres freestyle. And this S11 class has produced some incredible performances this week. Dambela Jara, the Spanish swimmer, will go in lane number 0, silver medalist earlier this week in the 50 freestyle. There's Rainer Correia de Souza will go next to him. Will go in lane number 1, the Brazilian, who was in that Brazilian relay team yesterday. He took the silver medal to Spain. Mikhailo Serbin, well, World Championship silver medalist in 2022. Mikhailo Serbin missed out on the medals. Again, Paralympic champion. Missed out on the medals in the 100 backstroke yesterday. So he'll be looking to make amends when he comes into this 400. We've got Guadondong in lane number 3, the World Championship bronze medalist from last year. The World Champion and Paralympic champion is David Kratochvil from Czechia. He's been fantastic form this week. 3 gold medals in the 50 and the 100 freestyle, as well as 100 metres butterfly. He will be looking to make it a freestyle treble. Ucho Tomita, Paralympic Games medalist last year from Japan in 5. Marco Meneses from Portugal in 6. Alex Kozlowski from Poland in 7. And Simonas Zverblis from Lithuania goes in lane number 8. So again, 9 swimmers in this one, Liz, just 1 to lose. And this S11 class, those swimmers with no vision at all, they'll be wearing blacked out goggles, so they're We'll talk about the tactics in the 400 freestyle, but the S11 swimmers will have no idea of who are around them.
Yeah, and if you needed anyone to set your clock by, it would always be these S11 swimmers, because they are used to swimming essentially time trials every single time they get in the water. So they are massively in tune with how to do that. They're massively in tune with what stroke counts they do, what stroke length, what stroke rate, what kind of pace, because they can't rely on reacting to the people around them. In the early stages, Kotochville in the centre just turned ahead of De Souza, who's out in lane number 1 for Brazil, whereas Kotochville is in the centre with Tomita. And they will be able to feel each other if they end up anywhere near the same lane road, because they're pretty much nose to nose at the moment, head to head. So they'll be able to feel each other pulling on the water, because their other senses are heightened. De Souza just dropped back now into 4th, but again, doesn't need to do too much in this heat, because there is a significant gap between the entry times of the swimmers in the centre and then those on the outside lanes. As we go over at the halfway point, Kotochville 2:16.52. It's just 8 100ths ahead of Tomita, so that's exactly what we're saying there. As we see them move through the field, going well. In 6 is Marco Menezes for Portugal. He's probably about 2 body lengths behind Tomita, who's now just dropped back from Kotochville. De Souza still going well for Brazil, up in lane number 1. It's very spread out across the pool. The battle for that final place in the final is currently between Dambelajara in 0 for Spain and Zverbilis in 8 for Lithuania. And actually it was Dambelajara who had the slowest entry time, but at present he is about a body length ahead of Zverbilis. But at the front of the field, Kotochville looking very comfortable as he comes into the 300 mark.
We talked about the tappers, Liz, very important in the S11, but never more so than the 400 freestyle, as Kotochville goes over 3:24.88. I mean, they are like essential for these S11 swimmers.
They are, and there'll be a tapper each end. You kind of get assigned which end you're gonna be responsible for, and typically the swimmers try to keep the same tappers all the time, because it is a confidence thing. These swimmers have got to be able to swim into that wall as fast as any other swimmer would, and we can see the different lengths of tapping sticks. Again, that's personal preference. Some swimmers have different tapping sticks for different events. We've seen that this week. And again, there's such a relationship of trust between the tapper and the athlete. And for Kotochville, he has, it's another part of the race really for them, and he's developed that skill.
And he's coming in now to the closing stages of this one. He's dominated this event in recent years. He stretches for the wall. Kotochville in that time of 4:28.46. So another good time for the Czechia swimmer. Excellent swim there. Again, 3 gold medals to his name already this week. And as the tappers come through for the second 2 swimmers, Tomita and Menezes, they will be in 2nd and 3rd into that final. In 4th place will be Kozlowski. Swimmers all coming in pretty close now. Serban in 5th, Rainer Correia de Souza in 6th place. It looks like Huadongdong is going to be in for 7th place. It's all very close, 7th, 8th and 9th here, but it is going to be Huadongdong safely into that final, along with Zverbilis, and Dambelajara will be the man to miss out. And of course, the blacked out goggles will have to be checked before this result can be made official, but Kotochville winning there, 4:28. It's a championship record actually, Liz. Just 18 100ths inside the record held by Roger Dorsman when he won in 2019. That's a very long-standing world record that Kotochville got very close to earlier this year. It stood since 1992.
Yeah, and if you can see this close-up of Kotochville here, and with the talk of blacked out goggles, you might notice his goggles aren't blacked out. and that's because he doesn't need that exemption, because he, along with Marco Menezes, who doesn't even wear goggles, both have prosthetic eyes. So that's the only exception to the rule of these S11s having to wear blacked out goggles, is if you actually don't have any eyes, and then there's no chance of sight. And the reason for that is a lot of the S12s are quite near the limit of just being able to see light to dark, and some athletes that, again, we talk about the importance of going into the wall, the blacked out goggles really do level the playing field.
And there's the blacked out goggles checked. We'll see, and we'll hope everything is okay with these goggles checked. There's some of the visitors as well, some of the schools that we've seen earlier this week.
It's Saturday today, isn't
Yes,
it?
yeah. Not so many in today, and that's probably why. But they've been great atmosphere all week. The school kids coming in really added to the heat sessions. There's the result. It's confirmed. Goggles have all been checked. David Krotokville, 4:28 championship record in the heats, and that looked very comfortable indeed. Tamita will be in second place in that final. Meneses in third place. Kozlowski will be there. Serban, Reina de Couza, and Huadongdong. Zaverblis will also make it in 8th place, but Dampella Jara will miss out. So we're going to some crowd interaction here in the venue, Liz. We've liked some of these, haven't we? I pity we haven't been able to show most of them on our live stream here. But they've kept the interest here for us.
Yeah, we've seen, I think you have seen on the wide shot angle, the big cube of scoreboard, and I don't even know what you call that scoreboard. What is it, an LED screen? Whatever the screen is called, the technicians will probably hear me. But there, yes, there's a lot of crowd interaction that happens on that screen. This is the start sheet for the women's 100 metres freestyle S7 heat number 1 of 2. Chloe Osborne looking to add to her freestyle medals this week. The Australian took a silver in the 400.
She was the anchor in that Australian relay team as well, who had that really close contest. And the medley relay, that was fantastic. Spain, Great Britain and Australia all coming into the wall absolutely together.
She was coming back strongly in the 52. She definitely builds pace through the swim, the actual swim stroke part of an event. So 100 metres has potential for her.
Yeah, I'd say so. Chloe Osborne, they're going in lane number 4. Of course, we've got 2 heats this time, so not the 1 heat format that we've seen for the previous 2 events. We've got Orti Campos from Spain. She goes in lane number 2. European medalist last year, Orti Campos. Julia Gaffney for the USA goes in 3. Chloe Osborne will be in that middle lane, the Australian. Silver medalist, as we said, in the 400 freestyle. Korsava, who's had a very good championships, the European champion last year. Also winning gold medal in that backstroke earlier this week. Annie Palian was a world medalist back in 2015, the neutral para athlete. Swam a very good 50 yesterday. Samela Manduano from Mexico closest to us is the final swimmer. So 6 swimmers in this one, 6 swimmers in the next one. So if you have designs on making it into that final, certainly you would think, well, top 2 are going to be guaranteed. 3rd place is a good place to finish, give you a great chance of making that final. 4th place, oh, you're right on the limit, aren't you?
Yeah, 4th will be a nervous wait, and as we can see here, it's all pretty close at the front. Chloe Osborne now just edging ahead as they go into that turn. It will be Osborne that touches first. 34.71 ahead of Korsava, 35.44, and Palian, 35.78. Korsava's been finishing strongly all week. Palian had an excellent heat swim of the 50 freestyle. We saw that high-speed turnover, but it is Osborne that looks really settled here at the front. She's found her rhythm. She's got about a body length lead over Korsava.
And Osborne looking good here. Kosovo just coming back in the closing stages, European champion. But Osborne has got the lead, and she will keep that lead into that wall. 112.78 for the Australian. Another good performance from her. Kosovo 113.54, and Gaffney 115.67. Orti Campos, European silver medalist, just winning a close contest with Annie Palian for 4th. And again, that might be vital when they come to decide on the top 8, Liz.
Yeah, Julia Gaffney came through very strongly at the end there. She was fighting down that final 25 metres, but it paid off because, like you said, we've talked about position, but also time. She gave herself a decent margin there between that 3rd and 4th place.
Osborne looked pretty good though. Liz, that's good technique. Some good pictures we're getting here from our camera crew. And Osborne reaches for the wall.
Yeah, she looks super content there as well, you can tell from that.
Chloe Osborne takes it 112.78. Veronica Korsova in 2nd, Julia Gaffney in 3rd. Orti Campos winning that contest for 4th. Annie Palian faded down to 5th place. There's the lineup for the next heat. Morgan Stickney and Halia Lettenberger, the 2 Americans side by side. Ortiz Mendes from Mexico goes in 2. 2 Americans in 3 and 4. Vargas Blanco in 5. Bocatreva, neutral parathlete, in 6. And Riley Sayer from New Zealand. She's made it through to a couple of finals this week, the New Zealander. She will go in lane number 7. But Morgan Stickney will start as a favourite, reigning champion, Morgan Stickney. And the silver medalist from the last World Championship, Sarah Vargas Blanco. They go in the middle lanes, in lanes 4 and 5. Vargas Blanco, as expected, off to a good start, Liz.
Yeah, you'd expect the Colombian in 5 to get away well, and then the athletes in the centre to start to chase them down as they build their speed. Stickney, the excellent 400 metres freestyle, so consistent. She gets the turn, 35.43, just 4 100ths ahead of Vargas Blanco, with Bogatreva in 3rd, 36.27 to Lettenberger's 36.51. We can see now the 2 Americans in the 2 yellow lanes. Well, Vargas Blanco is just moving back a little bit as Stickney pulls away. Lettenberger trying to come through. These 4 are clear of the rest of the field.
Stickney is going to be into the wall now in that time of 111.61, just faster than Chloe Osborne from that first heat. And Sarah Vargas Blanco should be in the final as well. 3 swimmers in the 1:14 range in that one. And we talked about the American dominance in the 400 freestyle, S7. It's a similar situation in this 100 freestyle as well. America have won every world title going back to 2006.
Yeah, it is a classification group where they've always had good strength and depth. Mario Wegerman not swimming this. She holds a championship record back from that World Championship victory in 2010. Mackenzie Cohn not here this week, so they've got a lot of swimmers that they can field.
Morgan Stickney will lead them into the final, trying to maintain that US dominance in this 100 freestyle S7. Chloe Osborne in 2nd, Veronica Korsova will be in the final as well. There'll be 3 Americans in it. Ledenberger and Gaffney will be in the final. Orti Campos makes it in, winning that close contest with Annie Palian, who misses out just by 0.14 of a second. So that was a vital touch there, that contest between Orti Campos and Palian in the first heat.
And even when the title didn't go to the United States, it stayed in North America because Canada's Danielle Campo won back in 98 and 2002. So if Chloe Osborne does manage to dethrone the North Americans, the Australians will be delighted.
Well, the only one that hasn't gone to North America was the very first one, wasn't it? 1994, Ava Nation from Norway took that one. What a record. What a record that,
That is
that the
impressive.
Americans have got. Oh, I don't think there's any other events that are like that. Have been dominated by one country for so long. Anyway, 100 freestyle for the men are now on another American in this one. That is the swim cap of Adam Williams. He goes in lane number 7. He'll be closest to us as we look at the picture. Ernie Gawalan will be there for the Philippines. In lane number 2, Alexei Ganyuk, bronze medalist in the 400 freestyle earlier this week. He goes in lane 3. Federico Biccelli, silver medalist at the last 2 world champs. He goes in lane number 4. Christian Sari has had a very good week. The South African, expect him to get off to a decent start in lane 5. Carlo Kanisevic in 6 and Adam Williams in 7.
Well, Williams got a good reaction off the block and going well as expected. It is Sadi for South Africa in 5. He's had a brilliant week, picked up a few medals for South African team. Already up there in 3, Ganyuk, the neutral power athlete, showing his strength in the second half of that first length. 30.72 ahead of 31.63 for Sadi, with Biccelli 31.98. And Biccelli in 4 for Italy has a very strong second 50. He had a superb victory in the 400 meters freestyle. He's got great endurance. He's starting to come back now, up level with Sadi, but Ganyuk looking great.
Yeah, Ganyuk is not going to be caught here into the last 5. And he will touch the wall in 103.89 for Alexei Ganyuk. Very fast time there, 106 entry time, so 103.89. Big improvement for Ganyuk. Biccelli eased in to second place in 105.80, just ahead of Christian Sadi, 106.54 for the South African. So those 3 away and clear at the front of the field. Christian Sadi has had a good week, got off to a good start, but once they were up into the strokes, Ganyuk looked really good in the middle part of that race.
Yeah, we got a great shot there of his touch turn, swiveled around, didn't waste any time on the wall, and looked powerful in the closing stages.
So there's Alexei Ganyuk. Still waiting for confirmation. Here we have it. Alexei Ganyuk takes that first heat. Federico Biccelli, Christian Sadi. That is the top 3.
Well, Biccelli does have plenty left in the tank for later.
Yeah, we normally see him around about the 1 minute mark, don't we, Biccelli? Heat number 2 sees Andrei Trusov, the world record holder from Ukraine, going in lane number 4. Again, Trusov and Biccelli have had some great tussles over recent years in this 100 freestyle. Trusov took the last 2 gold medals at the World Championships. The World Championships 22 and 23 ahead of Biccelli, but there is Turiso, second fastest into this heat. Turiso. Well, Singapore local hero Turiso. We've talked about him earlier this week. He's been involved in the preparation for these World Championships. He's made a couple of finals already this week. This is a good chance for him to challenge for the medals.
Take your marks.
Commonwealth Games medalist 2018 and 2022, and also an Asian Games medalist as well. The Singaporean swimmer goes in lane number 5 next to the world record holder Trusov. They got off to a good lead.
Well, the home crowd is carrying Turiso down this first 50. He's a great sprinter anyway, and he's leading the way at the moment. Those long arms off Trusov, not far behind, but it will be great if Toro can get the turn. It does. 30.78, the volume does rise. Trusov 31.07, and Bakatiorov 31.76, but there is the picture. Trusov just coming through now to take the lead, but Toway Song having a great swim here and delighting the home crowd.
Wonder if he might just take the touch here. Trusov, no, is just going to hold on, I think. And it is going to be Toway Song in second, but here comes Trusov, the world record holder, and he will be into the wall. 104.764. Trusov Tow in 105.84. Well, they'll be very close to the centre of the pool. Toway Song, he'll qualify comfortably for that final, but Trusov looked good, again, looked comfortable. Like Michelli in the previous heat, he's capable of going much, much faster, but Singaporean, excellent time, 105.84 for him. Expect him to improve in the final as well, so these leading two looking good in that second heat.
Well, yeah, Toway Song brought his quickest time of the year into that heat. There was a lot of noise. I can imagine there will be a lot more tonight if the final sessions have been anything to go on this week. But Trusov is in fine form here in terms of racing. But it's Ganyuk that tops the pile.
Yeah, Ganyuk lead them into the final. Trusov, Michelli, Toway Song, Christian Sadi will be there, Baktarov, Dumitru, Karpenko. That will be the top 8 for this S700 freestyle as the crowd here just celebrate that performance from Toway Song. The host nation, as you know, we've got 2 medals already. Yep, Pinshu has taken 2 medals gold last night, which was incredible. As we see the lineup for the 50 butterfly S6, Laurent Chardard, the world champion from France, goes in lane number 4. But yeah, it was a great atmosphere, wasn't it, last night for Yip PX to go for her world championship gold, and it was such a good race as well.
It was a good race. She wasn't really in the lead until the end, and then it was under threat. Trivi started well, Yip was coming through. It was all happening, and it was happening all over the pool too. So there was a lot of noise, but there was also a lot of breath being held.
It was. She took the lead in with about 5 minutes to go or so, and then Koltseva, who had beaten her in the longer distance, was coming back as well. So yeah, Yip timed it to absolute perfection last night. It was a fantastic atmosphere, fantastic occasion for these championships. The host nation getting onto the top of the medal podium. I wonder if they can get on that medal podium again with Toway Song. Well, that'll be tonight. But for now, 50 metres butterfly S6, 7 in the first heat, 8 in the second. There's Bruce D from Great Britain. Just missed out on the medals in the breaststroke yesterday, but swam a great swim in the relay for the GB team. Laurent Chardard will go in the centre lane. He's the reigning champion for 2023, the Frenchman in 4.
Got off to a good start, but the best start coming from Colombian Santiago Leon Prada, who's really done that all week. But now in that yellow lane, it is Koshman and Chardard who are coming through. Koshman leads the way for Ukraine.
Yeah, Koshman got a silver medal in the 50 freestyle earlier. Chardard, if he times just right, might get the touch, and it is Koshman, 32.48. Only 8 100s in it. Chardard in second place, 32.56 for the Frenchman. And it will be Leon Prada ahead of Great Britain's Bruce D. So 32.81 for the Colombian, 33.45 for the Great Britain swimmer.
So they will, well, D will be waiting. We say fourth's always a risky place. As you see the finishes there.
It was close, wasn't it? Chardard with that long arm at the end. He just about timed it right, but Koshman had enough to hold on, but it was only 8 100ths of a second in it. As a result, Koshman taking it, 32.48, 32.56 for Chardard, 32.81, and D 33.45. So the second heat, one swimmer not taking the start in this one, so we're down to 7 swimmers in this second heat. Should be fast. Gutierrez, Bermudez, Jesus,
Take your marks.
One, Lu, Yang, Crispin, De Oliveira, Noita and Rodrigo.
And they're off all a bit more evenly matched in this one. Good start from Yang in lane 3, 1 lane up from him. His teammate Luo, they're going strongly in the centre of the pool. Crispin Corzo, who had an excellent victory in the 100 metres breaststroke last night, is back in action this morning and looking strong.
Looking very strong. It was a late swim for Crispin Corso last night, but he's not showing any signs of fatigue at all. 31.89 for the Colombian. 2 Chinese swimmers in second. 33.01 for Yang. 33.12 for Lu. And De Oliveira will get in for 4th place. 33.29, just ahead of Noita, the Thailand swimmer. 33.48.
Well, you can see the reaction time there from Crispin Corzo in that centre lane. As you said, not showing any signs of that late night finish from yesterday's 100 breaststroke. It was the final individual event of the programme last night. And he's really had a good week here in Singapore.
He has. It's an up and down week. Maybe some of the events that he would have expected to be challenging for, he's not been there, but generally he's been on good shape. Nelson Crispin finishing the week strongly. He goes into the 50 butterfly in 1st position. Koshman will be there, Shardar, Leon Prada, the 2 Chinese swimmers, Yang and Luo, Melinda Oliveira and Bruce T will make it in for Great Britain just by 3/100ths of a second ahead of Noitat from Thailand. Well, that was a close finish between 8th and 9th. Might have been on for a swim-off there, Les. That would have been good.
You and your desire for a swim-off, eh?
Well, still a few races left for us, maybe to get that swim-off. We shall see. 50 freestyle S9. This will be a fast one. The world record holder, Alexa Leary from Australia, goes in lane number 5. First time this week that we've seen Christy Raleigh Crossley from the USA, 2-time Paralympic gold medalist from Paris last year. He will go in 5. Nakazibwe from Uganda will go there in lane number 0. We've got De Oliveira from Namibia on the other side of the pool, so the 2 Africans on either side. We've got Ochtera from Poland in lane number 1. Mary Jeb, 3 times a medalist already this week for Canada, going into Mariana Ribeiro, that win in the backstroke last night. Excellent performance from Ribeiro, the Brazilian. She's the defending champion. She will go in lane number 3. She was ahead of Alexa Leary at the last World Championships. Since then, Leary has gone on to break the world record. She did that this year. Christy Raleigh Crossley from the USA will go in lane number 5. Second Australian, Emily Beecroft, medalist in the butterfly earlier this week. She goes in lane 6. Elena Gliakina, second event of the morning. She swam the breaststroke a little bit earlier. Joanna Fruchtjar, Denmark in 8.
Take your marks.
So, 50 minutes freestyle. Alexa Leary is going to be the one to beat the world record holder.
She's going well here. She showed great speed in that 50 freestyle. Raleigh Crossley doing butterfly in this heat this morning. So it will be the Australian that leads them home ahead of Mariana Ribeiro of Brazil. Clock gets stopped, 27:36. Well, that was deceivingly quick. She looked really chilled this morning, but actually it was fast.
And it's only, well, 0.13 outside the world record mark that she set in May. 27:36 for the Australian Championship record for her. Ribeiro, 27:79 as well. That's a good swim from the Brazilian. In second position, Beecroft will be in third, 29:43. But Leary well. So she was in good form in the 100, great form in this 50 as well. Alexa Leary takes it, championship record. We have Ribeiro in second, Beecroft in third, Jib, Clearkina, Optera, Frokja, and Riley Crossley does make it in 8th place, a USA swimmer.
Nakazubi, the one to miss out there on that place in the final. Well, that was an interesting heat. Said Leary looked very comfortable indeed, deceivingly quick. Ribeiro was there with her, which probably is what made it look so easy. They were both going quite fast. And then Riley Crossley choosing to do butterfly, so she'll be in an outside lane tonight.
She will be. That'll be an interesting one. She might be a threat from that outside lane. That's a really quick heat. We'll watch out for that in the final. World records have been falling this week. Let's see if we're going to get any more today. We have first heat of this 50 metres freestyle S9. Going to the crowd again. Liz, we're running ahead of time.
Well, that's an exciting thing. Yes, it is. But we can't, as we say, we can't actually ever start a race before the published time. The athletes work out their preparation to the minute, really. So we can go late, but we can never go early.
So work back right from the race start time and all these different stages of your preparation.
Yes, sir. Start time, call room time, put your suit on time, warm-up time, physio time, arrive at the pool time, breakfast time, well, no, get the bus time, breakfast time, wake-up time. That's how I used to do it.
Sounds like a good system.
It never fails.
The wake-up time is the important one. Starts it all off.
It's the wake-up versus get-up, I think, is the...
yeah. Well, the S9 50 freestyle, well, we saw some comfortable qualification in the heats earlier this morning. I don't think there's going to be many people taking it easy in this one. 7 in this heat and 8 in the second. Braunschweig, Bozinski, Mozgovoy, Tarasov, Z, Walzer, and Denaye. That's the lineup for this S9 50 metres freestyle. First time in the week we've seen Denis Tarasov, silver medalist in the Paralympic Games 2021 and 2024.
Braunschweig got off the block very well up in lane 1. Really, the qualifiers could come from anywhere. Tarasov in that black hat in lane 4 is ahead of the rest of the field, but Z going very well, as is Walzer.
And it is going to be Tarasov, I think, to the wall, and he did just about get it there ahead of G, who reached very well for the wall in the finish. 25.91 for the Chinese swimmer. Tarasov 25.85, and Walzer, a good swim from the Italian, getting in 26.08, just ahead of Braunschweig, who is just ahead of Hector Denier, the French swimmer, who finishes in 5th there. And good swim at the front of the field. Tarasov 25.85. I know he's gone much faster, but into the wall first, and that's important.
Yeah, those first 2 touches are vital. As we said, you can get all your qualifiers from the next heat because there are 8 swimmers in it, but it is unlikely. But there really is much margin in it, so it's going to be a nervous wait now.
Tarasov does take that one. 6/100s between him and Z. Walzer 26.08, looking in good shape to make that top 8. There's the lineup for the next heat. Maria Alcaraz, Puresh Malyazdi, Vasilenko, world record holder Simone Barlam, Paralympic Games bronze medalist Fredrik Solberg, Oliver Kristanovsky, Cooley, and Al Hayani. That's the lineup for this next heat, heat number 2. Barlam, again, one that's dominated this one. He's won the last 4 World Championship titles, won the last 2 Paralympic Game titles. He set the world record in Paris last year, 23.90. So if anyone doesn't have to go at full tilt in this one, it might be Simone Barlam in lane number 4.
Yeah, he has that very long stroke. And he will come through. Already he is at the front of the field. Going well though. In 5 is Solberg, the sprint specialist. It's all very close at the front. Barlam does lead the way.
Barlam into the last 5 now. Let's check the clock for Simone Barlam. It's a good fast time for him, 24.47. And Solberg in 4th place in the end, just behind Boris Malyazdi, and Krysanowski came through really fast for 2nd, the Polish swimmer, getting in for 2nd position. Well, Solberg got off well, but in the end he finished in 4th place. I think he'd be okay for the final because it was a very fast 2nd heat. Well, Barlam looking good, 24.47 for the world champion. He was clearly ahead there. What a good finish there from Krysanowski to take him into 2nd. Boris Malyazdi, the Iranian swimmer, finishing in 3rd, and Solberg only 4th into that final. Tarasov in 5th, Z, Volzer and Kiuli makes it. So the top 4 times coming from that 2nd heat. Just shows you, Liz. I think you were safe in your maybe top 2 positions, but that 2nd heat was very fast indeed. But Barlam will lead them into that final. Krysanowski, a great swim from the Polish swimmer, 25.31 in 2nd.
It was strong. There were 5 from heat 2 and 3 from heat 1 as we move on to the women's 100 meters freestyle S5 heat number 1. There is only 1 heat here, but there are 10 swimmers. So we'll look for the fastest 8 to progress through to the final. Monica Borgioni having an excellent week for Italy. She'll be looking to give herself a chance to add another gold medal to her haul.
Borgioni, world champion in 2023. So 3 gold medals here at these championships in individual events. So Paralympic Games bronze medalist last time as well. Borgioni, she will be the firm favourite for this one. Kupalova has taken 2 silver medals in the freestyle events. The Czechia swimmer in lane number 5. Full lineup for this one. Oliveira dos Santos from Brazil. That excellent time that she had to win the breaststroke on day 1 of this competition. Alison Gobel from Canada goes in 1. Sumai Boyachi, Turkish swimmer, goes in lane number 2. Mahari Yu from Japan goes in 3. Borgioni will go in 4 next to Kupalova. Noriega from Argentina takes start in lane number 6. And Ashley Ornquist, 2 medals to her name. The Finnish swimmer going in lane number 7. Seveli Ozturk, 2nd of the Turkish swimmers, goes in 8. And Sivleki from Greece in lane number 9. So again, 2 swimmers not make it to the final from these 10 swimmers. And very often, Liz, it's the outside lanes that are the ones with the slowest entry times that struggle to make it through to these finals. But Alessandra Olivia dos Santos has been on great form this week, and she's a little bit of an unknown quantity, making her debut, the 17-year-old, at the World Championships. But we saw her swim a sensational breaststroke race.
Yeah, both outside lanes are teenagers. Olivia dos Santos, 17, Sivleki, 15, and we've seen teenagers this week drop lots of time. Olivia dos Santos was one of those, and so it's not quite a given.
So it's the S5 classification. 3 swimmers going from the water and the other swimmers going from the blocks. Interestingly, 3 swimmers going from the water are the ones that have taken the medals in all of the freestyle events so far, in the 50 and the 200. This is the one right in the middle, 100 freestyle.
Yeah, we'll see that unfold throughout this 100 metres. Already, Monica Boggioni of Italy is away and clear. She goes through the 35-metre mark with about a body length lead over Kupilova. And then another gap still going well. Up in one off the start is Alison Gobel of Canada. It's Boggioni over first though, 39.21 from Kupilova, 41.73. And Enqvist, who's having a great week, medaling for Finland more than once, 43.48. It's getting a little more spread out now down this second 50. It's still tight for who is going to miss out on the place in the final.
Yeah, maybe Boyacci possibly at the back of the field over there in lane number 2, but trying to come back now on Olivia Dos Santos as Boggioni will be into the wall in the last 5. Monica Boggioni now will take this one comfortably. Let's see what kind of time that she can get. 121.7 for Monica Boggioni, 121.75. Kupilova 126.96 for the Czech swimmer. Enqvist 132.02 in second. So the 3 medalists in the freestyle events this week are in the top 3 positions, and Zivlecki had a good finish there, the Greek swimmer, to bring herself into 8th position, and she will finish ahead of Boyacci and Oliveira dos Santos. They will be the 2 to miss out, the Turkish swimmer and the Brazilian.
Well, we said his teenagers, we said Zivlecki, 15 years old, so I'm inside her entry time there. And if she had got her entry time, she wouldn't be making that final. So it just goes to show anything can happen on the day. She'll be delighted to make it through. But really, Monica Boggioni looking so strong there at the front of the field and in a good position to defend her World Championship title.
Boggioni and Kupilova take first and second place, clearly ahead of the rest of the field, but it's all pretty tight behind them. Zivlecki from Greece will be the final qualifier. Next event is the men's equivalent, the 100 freestyle S5 for Jing Cheng. Goes for China in lane number 4, Francesco Borgiardo next to the Chinese swimmer in lane number 5. Looking pretty efficient today because we're running ahead.
We've been here a week. Everybody, it's all working out now.
Oh, we've eventually got it sussed. Day 7.
Pretty good. Everything's been pretty good.
Finals have not been too bad. We've had some delays, primarily with medal presentations, I think.
There's a big chunk. A big chunk of medal ceremonies right at the end, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think, but not much more than 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the session, so it's not too bad. Pretty much according to schedule all the way through as the swimmers come out for this 100 freestyle. There's Guo Jingchen, Paralympic Games at silver medalist. Again, someone who's won 3 gold medals here at these championships, and he's been performing really well here in Singapore. There's Anthony Pons-Bertrand, silver medalist in the individual medley and in the breaststroke this week. Kutlu will go in lane number 6. Turkish swimmer. The full lineup for this one: Tanaka from Japan right at the top, the silver. Oliveira, medalist 3 times this week, the Brazilian in the individual events. Pons-Bertrand from Spain in 3. Guo Jingchen in lane number 4 for China. Borgiardo from Italy, silver medalist yesterday in the 200. Kutlu for Turkey in 6. Katav, Israel in 7. And Masabi,
Take your marks.
closest to us, in lane number 8 again. Range of starts here in this S5. Some swimmers in the water and some swimmers from the dive, and they have the early advantage, the diving swimmers.
Yeah, Silva de Oliveira and Guo going well in 2 and 4. They're very good over the 50 sprint distances. You can see the kick there from the Chinese athlete in the center, really propelling him down the first length of this race. He will lead at the turn ahead of Silva de Oliveira, 32.67 to 34.41, with Kutlu of Turkey turning 35.63, just 0.2 ahead of Bocciado. A watch for Bocciado and Pons Bertrand in the middle in 3 and 5. They will try to come back on the early leaders.
And Guo Jincheng just holding on, but Bocciado coming back now just to overtake the Chinese swimmer. Should be relatively okay for qualification if the top 4 swimmers, but it's all getting very close at the end here. Bocciado will be in first place. He'll be second to the Silva de Oliveira. In that third position, it'll be Pons Bertrand. Kutlu just getting the touch on Guo Jincheng. And well, the Chinese silver medalist at the Paralympic Games, Guo Jincheng, might be under a little bit of pressure here. He finished in 5th in that one, just behind Kutlu.
Yeah, he really seemed to turn it off down that second 50. We'll have to wait and see what happens in this second heat. There's quite a lot of power in this second heat, so it's not a given that he will make it. But as we saw in the S9 men's 50 freestyle, there can be a significant different pace between 2 heats. Silva de Oliveira did well to hold on to the second place finish there. Good time from him behind Bocciado. Bocciado looked good, coming through strongly in those closing stages.
Yeah, Bocciado finished well, 112.05 for the Italian. Samuel de Silva de Oliveira in second. Pons Bertrand and Kutlu in third and fourth. And Guo Jincheng missing out 4th place by 4/100ths of a second. Could that be vital? Some informed swimmers in this second heat. Hertaposa from Spain, Zulkifli from Malaysia. 2 Ukrainians next to each other, Olenek and Komarov. Pulver, neutral para-athlete, goes in 5. Zhuan Wei-Yi from China in 6. Hinata in 7. And Ai Chanapong from Thailand in lane number 8. Certainly a number of swimmers capable of going faster than the 1:15 that we saw for 4th and 5th position in that previous heat. Just keep an eye on this. Komarov is the reigning champion. He's the reigning Paralympic champion as well. The Ukrainian going in lane number 4. But his teammate Artem Olenek has been in great form. 2 medals, including a gold in the 200 yesterday.
Yeah, we're looking here at Yuan, who had a great start, as did Renata, 1 lane closer to us, but now it is the swimmers in the centre that are starting to come through. Pulver looking great in lane 5. But as you said, Paul, Olin of Ukraine has been an excellent addition to the team. He's had a brilliant week. He took that victory in the 200. Komarov in the relay team for Ukraine right at the start of the week with that victory, and he's got great pedigree in this one. He's coming back now into 2nd position. Going well, it is Kirill Pulver, 34.31. He led at the turn from Komarov and Olenek, and they're closing up the 2 Ukrainians, but it will be Pulver that takes this second heat.
Pulver into the last few strokes. We'll get it there, 110.99 for Pulver. Komarov from 112.84, 113.05, and 118.15 for 4th place. So Guo Jincheng, I think, will make it from that first heat. He will be in the final in 8th position with Hertaposa in 4th place there. But Pulver, Komarov and Olenek, they look good there. 110.99 for Pulver. Looks strong in the second half of that one.
Yeah, it's a very strong heat there, but that's just a reminder that in swimming it's the 8 fastest times that go through to the final. It doesn't matter where you finish position-wise in your heat, and on this occasion that has served Guo very well indeed.
There is Pulver into the last few strokes. The neutral para-athlete will go into that final in 1st position. Here are the qualifiers. Pulver, 110.99. Bocciado, Komarov, Olenek, De Silva, De Oliveira, Ponce Bertrand, Kutlu, and Go Jingchen just making it in 8th position ahead of Katav. It's very close to that final. Again, it was very tight. Thought we were going to lose one of the big names, but Go Jingchen is going to be there. He'll be a threat, Liz.
He will. He's got a lot more to give in that second 50. But he has had a big week.
So we are now onto the S4 women's one heat. Again, 9 swimmers who only got to lose at 1 swimmer in this 200 freestyle. And Katie Kubiak from the USA has been on record-breaking form all week. Tanja Schultz from Germany holds the world record in this one, 251.53, but Schultz's records have been falling to the American Kubiak. So just keep an eye on this swim, because Kubiak has been one of these swimmers that's been going for it hard in the heats, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think she's really finding her way on the world stage. This is her debut at major championships. And so sometimes, like we said, it can go either way for people. Some people get a bit overawed by it. Some people, the adrenaline sends them one way, or they can really find their way. And that looks to be what Kubiak's doing. I think her and her coach just said, come in, have fun, see where you're at. And when you swim relaxed like that, you do often surprise yourself.
So we'll see how Katie Kubiak does, the USA swimmer right in the middle. Brenda Larry from Malaysia in 0. Goncharova, neutral para athlete, next to another neutral para athlete, Larionova. Gina Butcher from Germany goes in 3. Kubiak from the USA in 4. Vera de Cruz from Brazil going in lane 5. Next to her teammate, Pereiro dos Santos. Nelly Miranda Herrera, who's been a world champion before, back in 2010 and 2013. She goes in lane number 7. And Jordan Tucker from Canada will go in at lane number 8. Kubiak, we've seen her this week. She doesn't get away at the start particularly fast, does she? But once she gets in to her swim, she's been almost unstoppable.
Yeah, she's got a good reaction time, but there's no propulsion from the lower half of her body. So she pushes off the wall with that hand and then is straight up and into her stroke. She's got a high stroke rate and a powerful pull, which is what's driving her through. She was a non-para swimmer in her teenage years before a back surgery that has brought her into this S4 classification group, which is not an uncommon story. We've seen a lot of swimmers this week that were previously non-para athletes and now in the para swimming program. It translates either way. The Americans back in Beijing had Dave Dennison, who was an NCAA 200-meter breaststroker and then came into the SP4 breaststroke classification. It doesn't always translate, but quite often with freestylers, it can do.
I mean, we've seen Natalie Dutoy as well from South Africa, great South African who was a national swimmer for South African team and obviously had an accident, or became an amputee and competed in the Paralympic Games and also went on to compete in the Olympics as well as an amputee in the swimming.
Yeah, she did. I remember first competing with her, not against her, thankfully, at the Commonwealth Games in 2002. And Kubiak, she's gone out here, 122.38. That is under world record pace. That world record of Tanja Schultz from the 2:51.53. So we'll keep our eyes on the clock here. Kubiak a long way ahead at the moment, but what we've seen from this S4 classification group this week is very competitive behind Kubiak, and that is the same here this morning. The heats. Butcher of Germany leads the rest of the field. She is moving through on this third length. You can see the turn here. The German goes over. She's 15 seconds behind Kubiak, but she is going well. Larionova, who finishes strongly, just ahead of Vera de Cruz. But it's Kubiak and the clock once again here in Singapore.
And she was 5/100ths inside that world record pace at the 150. Let's see if she can get inside it here. 2:51, a 53. As you can see, it's going to be mighty close here. It's going to be inside, I think, and she is inside. 250.82. The world record has been broken from Katie Kubiak of the USA. Another world record for the American. What a week that she is having. She just dips under that time of Tanya Schultz by half a second or so. Larionova finishing very strongly to just get ahead of Gina Butcher for third place. They will both go into that final. Vera de Cruz is in, Miranda Herrera, Pereira dos Santos just coming in now for Brazil. And it's two swimmers in the outside lanes, like Goncharova and Tucker will also make it into that final. Brenda Larry looks like the one who's going to miss out. But what about that swim at the front of the field there, Liz, as we see the final swimmers coming in? Jordan Tucker, that is, for Canada.
Well, it was a strong swim. Kubiak attacked it from the start, and like you said, every time she swims, it's almost like we're watching her as she sort of learns how to use her body in the most effective way. And she's, as you said, she's been attacking the heats, but then learning so much in those heats and coming back in the finals and going even quicker. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that world record go again this evening, as we just now look at the pictures of Brenda Larry coming in to finish her final 10 meters or so up there in lane 0.
There's a Malaysian, Brenda Larry. Again, another one who's represented Malaysia at the Paralympic Games. She was in the Tokyo Games in 2021. Her second World Championships after competing in London in 2019. And she will be the one, I think, who's going to miss out on that final. But 4:37.
Excellent time for her. She had an entry time of 4:53, so she's moved that along very nicely. As you said, Paul, it does look like she will be the one to miss out. Here we are watching the new world record holder, Kubiak, turn around at the opposite end to the start. She's looking strong. She's really finding her way in this para swimming program.
She certainly is, and another world record to the American. How many is that this week? Must be 4 or 5 for Katie Kubiak. World record in the 200 freestyle for Katie Kubiak of the USA. She qualifies for the final ahead of Larionova, Butcher, Vera de Cruz, Miranda, Pereira dos Santos, Tucker and Goncharova will be in that final. Brenda Larry from Malaysia will be the one to miss out. 200 meters individual medley in the SM13 classification. This is for swimmers with a visual impairment. Carlotta Giri is the world record holder. The Italian goes in lane number 4. So this was the SM13 classification, but it is a combined event. The SM12s are swimming up against the 13s, and you know, as you said, in these combined events, it is only one set of medals. So we do have one SM12 in this one and one in the next heat. Ella Lytton-Jones from Great Britain is the only SM12 in this heat against all the SM13s. And of course, visual impaired athletes, Liz, we have these classes. The S11s are those with no vision at all, and the 12s and 13s are those with partial vision.
Yeah, so we've talked about this, the visually impaired categories. There are 3 of them, as you said. The SM13s have got the most vision that is permitted in the para program, and the 12s are probably the widest band. Ultimately, the 13s can have a visual field of less than 20 degrees, or they can see up to what we can see at 60 meters, at 6 meters, which is a significant sight loss, as you can imagine. And then the SM12s, that is a 5-degree field of vision or less. And then the what we can see at 60, they would see up to 1 meter. So that's the difference.
Yeah. These swimmers, these visually impaired swimmers, I mean, do a fantastic job. It's great technicians, these visually impaired swimmers. A lot of stroke counting has to go on. Some of the swimmers have tappers, they're allowed tappers, and quite a number of tappers will be allowed in this individual medley. We'll see them. Danica Vanka in lane number 2 for South Africa. She has a tapper. Ziblatseva, neutral para athlete, goes in 3. Carlotta Gili, world record holder from Italy, going in 4 and off to a good start, the Italian. Marian Polo Lopez and Ariadna Edo Beltran, they go in 5 and 6. Polo Lopez had a great anchor leg in the relay yesterday to take Spain through to gold medal position. Ella Litton-Jones completes the lineup. Great Britain swimmer who won a bronze, a silver actually, I think it was, in the backstroke earlier this week for Great Britain on her international debut. The only SM12 in this one. But Carlotta Gili, she's kind of had an up and down week. She's had some good performances, Liz, but you know, on the back of that Paris Paralympic Games, she's maybe not hitting the heights that we've come to expect from the Italian, but she's looking good in these early stages, going through halfway, 107.83. She leads through ahead of Zibeltseva, 113.72, and Polo Lopez, 114.28.
Yeah, Gilly still looking for her first title of the week. She hasn't swum particularly badly, but she has met her match in some of the other, especially as the Americans got some very strong swimmers in this classification. They've just touched her out. She does swim a very big program. It was unfortunate yesterday to get disqualified in the heat of the 400 meters freestyle. So she'll be looking to make amends here in this one. She's looking good at the front of the field. She went through 100 meters, 107.83, with almost a 6-second lead over Zibeltseva. Polo Lopez was just behind the first of the 2 Spaniards. 154.84 for Gilly as she turns on to that final leg. Polo Lopez has narrowed that gap ever so slightly. Still 5 seconds though. Still going well. Edo Beltran has moved up into 3rd position. 2 Spaniards behind Carlotta Gili. But here is Carlotta Gili just stroking out this freestyle. She'll take this first heat.
And she will be in to the wall in 1st position and comfortable 2:31.46 for Carlotta Gili. Marian Polo Lopez, another good swim from the Spaniard, 2:36.74, and followed on by her teammate Ariadna Edo Beltran. Again, these Spanish swimmers, vastly experienced. Polo Lopez in her 5th World Championship. I don't think she's ever swum better. Marian Polo Lopez, great victory yesterday in that relay. But Carlotta Gili, great record that she has in this event. Last 2 Paralympic Games, she was the champion. And she's the reigning champion from Manchester 2023. So Carlotta Gili leads them at the moment with 1 more heat to come.
Yeah, that's also something to consider, is Carlotta Gili, like I said, she's performed so well last year in Paris. That does have an impact then on how your next season starts, whereas the Americans, see, they're chomping at the bit, so to speak, because they've got home Paralympics on the horizon. And they've come into this in great form.
Carlotta Gili takes that one, 2:31.46 ahead of Polo Lopez and Edo Beltran, 2:36.74 and 2:38.00. Zibeltseva was in 4th place, 2:40.02. We'll keep an eye on that one for qualification. 2 USA swimmers in the centre of the pool. Grace Newfer in 3, Olivia Chambers in 4. Line up for this one, Zheng in 1, Tudor-Sava in 2, Newfer and Chambers 3 and 4, Narian from Ireland in 5, Falou Martin, another Spanish swimmer, in 6, and Elani Ferreira, the African record holder, goes in lane number 7.
Well, it was Nufa that won the butterfly by the smallest of margins in the beginning of the week. She's still going well here, as you would expect. Nirian going with her for Ireland, so it'll be Nufa in 30.76, just 13/100ths ahead of Nirian, and then Chambers in third after 50 meters. Chambers with that higher stroke rate on the backstroke, moving through to the front of the field. She won the breaststroke, so expect her to put in a strong leg here. She looks like she is attacking this second 50. She's moved well clear of Nufa now. She comes under the flags. Nirian and Nufa pretty much stroke for stroke. They'll go in the turn together, but at the halfway point, it will be Olivia Chambers 108.06. The split, Nufa 111.26, just 3/100ths ahead of Nirian. They are clear of the rest of the field.
Nirian, again, she was a silver medalist in the breaststroke behind Chambers, so she'll be hoping to use that breaststroke strength, the Irish swimmer, to come up ahead of Grace Nufa. But it is still a pretty tight contest between the two for second and third. Now, the Irish swimmer just pulling away as Chambers comes in to this final turn with a clear lead. Silver medalist Chambers behind Carlotta Gili in Paris last year and at the last World Championships.
Yes, she'll be looking to give herself an opportunity to upgrade that here in Singapore. She's had a great week. The Americans have dominated this S13 classification group this week, and they'll be looking to get their hands on this title as well. But Carlotta Gili, the strong heat, she'll be looking to prevent that, but this heat has been all about Chambers. Nufa and Nirian still together, but Chambers comes into the final 5 meters.
Yeah, and she's going to take this one. It's going to be faster than Gili in 2:29.05. Olivia Chambers will take that heat. It's Nirian 2:34 for the Irish swimmer, and that'll be safely into that final for Roisin Nirian. Grace Nufa 2:34.91. Emily Filou-Martin 2:42.31. Should be good enough to make it through as well. But only just, I think, for Emma Filou-Martin. She might be in 8th place, but Olivia Chambers will take that one. Again, another dominant swim. And as you said, Liz, the American swimmers swimming really well in this S13 classification.
Yeah, they've had great pedigree over the years, and now they seem to have continued that development. And Chambers will be looking to add to her gold medals from here this week. She's looking strong.
Yeah, she certainly is. She's got that 400 freestyle strength at the end of that individual medley. Here's the two Americans, Grace Nufa and Roisin Nirian. And Gili will be there as well. Chambers and Gili and Nirian, the 3 medalists from the Paralympic Games last year, go through first, second and third. Nirian just 1/100th ahead of Grace Nufa, but it was good enough for third. And the finalists, along with those 3, Nufa in 4th, Polo Lopez, Edo Beltran, Zibel Seba and Filou-Martin. 3 Spanish swimmers in that final, 2 Americans, 1 Italian, 1 from Ireland and 1 neutral para-athlete. But again, we talk about the quality, Liz. The 3 Paralympic medalists all there in that final, and they'll be going against each other, head to head in that final.
It's a very strong field.
And there's the men. First heat of the men's SM13. We have, again, a combined event this one. So, as you can see, some SM12s competing against the SM13s here. So, 4 swimmers taking the start. We were due to have 5 swimmers, but we have had a withdrawal. Swimmer due to go in lane number 6. Don't think we're going to see them as they have some noise from the crowd. Again, these school kids really enjoying themselves here. Great atmosphere in this OCBC Aquatics Arena. So we do just have the 4 in this first heat. We have 6 in the second heat. So we could have swum it as one heat, couldn't we? We've only 10 left. Fortunately, the programme was out before that withdrawal, so we've got 2 heats in this one. Villarreal Martin for Spain. He's one of the S12 swimmers. And we have Genki Saito from Japan, one of the SM13 swimmers. Igor Shipkovsky, well, he's been one of the stars of the S13 classification. 3 gold medals already to his name this week. He won the 100 freestyle, 400 freestyle and the butterfly. And Timofey Guk, closest to us in lane number 5, he was the winner of the breaststroke, so watch out for him in the breaststroke element of this individual medley, but expect Chitskovsky in lane number 4, the winner of the 100 butterfly, to go out strongly.
Yeah, Chitskovsky, well, he started, he knows he's in good form, and he knows he doesn't have to do too much to qualify this final. He's taken this butterfly very easy indeed. Saito gets a touch, 28.53 ahead of Guk, 28.69 with Villarreal Martin third after the butterfly, 29.35. It's all very close though, and already in those centre lanes, the backstrokers coming through. As I said, Shitovsky had a great turn to bring him back level. He was only just under a second down, but now he's right there in secure second position. Going well still is Saito for Japan. He will get the tap and he will turn first at the halfway point. 103.56 for Saito, Shitovsky 104.48, Guk 104.75, and Villarreal Martin at the top there, just a few seconds further behind. But watch for Guk now and Shitovsky to use this breaststroke to come through. It is Shitovsky moving up ahead of Saito. Guk is level with Saito. Breaststroke so often the decider in an individual medley, but these 3 are away and clear.
Very close contest here at the front of the field. Chitskovsky and Guk, they're side by side there, only separated by around about half a second. Saito right in there as well, but look at the power of the freestyle of Igor Chitskovsky. He just came away from that wall, and well, you can see his race plan here. Look at the power on this freestyle. As he said, he won the title in the 100 freestyle and the 400 freestyle. He was bronze medalist in the 50, but look at the power on that last element of that 200 individual medley. 2:13.00 for Chitskovsky, and he will qualify for that final. His entry time at 2:12.65. As you said, Liz, he took it really easy in the early stages there, but that powerful freestyle gets him back quite close to his entry time. Only 0.3 of a second outside that. Timofey Guk finishing 2:15.73, and Genki Saito 2:18.66. That should be good enough for them to take a place in the top 8, you would think.
Yeah, the second heat coming up shortly. We said you never quite know, but it's unlikely that all of a second heat will knock out the swimmers from the first heat, especially on the longer distances. On the 50s in the higher classification groups, it can come down to that, but there is that result confirmed.
Yeah, Chitskovsky taking it 2:13, the SM13 swimmer ahead of the 2 at the SM12 swimmer Timofey Guk, with Saito in third position. Line up for the next heat. All SM13 swimmers in this one. Zitsky, Hendricks, Alex Bortal, Taras Horingel, Philip Hebmuller, and Kavaloniak, closest to us, neutral para-athletes. In the 2 outside lanes, Nathan Hendricks, South African in 3, Alex Bortal, silver medalist yesterday in the 400 freestyle, and the winner of the breaststroke, Talaso Engel, goes in lane number 5. next to his teammate Philip Hebmuller in 6.
Yep, and it is Engel at the moment who's up there with Portal as they'll go into the butterfly turn together. Touch going to Engel, 27.33, just 5 100ths ahead of Portal, with Hendricks in third after the first length. They're now on to the backstroke. Going well in 6th is Hembula. He's having a good backstroke leg here, just catching up with his teammate, but we're at the front of the field with Portal and Hendricks having a strong backstroke. He now pulls level with the Frenchman. As we come under the flags, you'll see the tapping stick of Nathan Hendricks. These flags difficult to see for a number of these athletes. They go into the wall together. Portal gets a touch, 103.69 ahead of Hendricks, 103.92. Hembula did move up ahead of Tallis and Engel by the smallest of margins, but watch out for the breaststroke champion to make his move now.
And Portal is the defending champion. He's won the last 2 titles in this one in 22 and 23. And Hendricks right there, but here comes Talisso Engel from Germany, the breaststroke champion. He's absolutely dominated the breaststroke event in recent years. He's a Paralympic champion from Paris and from Tokyo. World record breaker as well, Talisso Engel. So the breaststroke vitally important there in the individual medley, as we saw, and that's given the German a little bit of a lead. But Alex Portal and Nathan Hendricks are very, very strong freestylers, but Talisso Engel just about holding on. I think Portal is just stroking into the closing stage. You see here Hendricks working a little bit harder than the Frenchman. They're all going to come in together. Engel might be the one with the touch, although Hendricks finishing really fast here, but Engel into the wall ahead of Hendricks, and Portal in third, 2:16.63 for Engel, 2:17.37 for Hendricks, 2:17.75 for Portal. Litiski, 2:18.60. I think they will all make it into that final, Liz.
Yeah, that was a closer heat for sure, especially in those final stages. The breaststroke really did sort of squash things back up after that backstroke. Engel looked great. He had a 36 point for that breaststroke split. Like you said, he's dominated that individual breaststroke event for a number of years now. And then he was working harder than Portal on that freestyle, but that's okay. And he's got himself a good lane for the final.
Just about to get the results. Here we go, the qualifiers. Chitsovsky will lead them. Timofey Guk, Talisso Engel, Hendricks, Portal, Lisitsky, Saito will make it. There'll be 2 Germans in that final as well. Philip Hebmuller makes it in 8th position. It's going to be an interesting one, that one. Chitskovsky looked very good at the front of the field, but others, a few are holding back there. I think we could be in for an interesting final in that SM13 200 individual medley.
It is very much all to play for as we move on to the women's 100 meters freestyle S3 Heat 1.
All S3s in this one. Again, some of the S2s swimming up against the S3s, but they are all in the second heat. So it's all S3s. 7 S3 swimmers in this first one. And we were talking yesterday, Liz, about the strength of the S2 classifications for the women. The S3s are exactly the same. Big numbers at these championships.
Yeah, we've seen it in the S4s as well, like this really populated lower classification groups. And we said that exposure, the development, the depth, some very experienced athletes that have been around for a number of years, but it's great to see some relative newcomers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people making their debuts, like 14-year-old Victoria Sobota, who goes right up there at the top in lane number 1 for Poland. In lane number 2, Ali van Viksmar of Canada. Zoya Shirova, neutral para athlete in 3. Marta Fernandez Infante, the reigning world champion. She goes in at lane number 4. Delia Fontcubeta Severa, 2 medals in the freestyle events for Spanish swimmer in lane number 5. Domriziana Meccanati, of course, for Italy in lane number 6. Just missed out on the medals by the smallest of margins in the 200 freestyle yesterday. And Veronika Guirenko of Israel in lane number 7. Oh, Marta Fernandez Infante, a good record in this event, and well, she's had a good week. Marta Fernandez Infante, she's taken a couple of medals, silver medal in the 50 freestyle, also bronze in the backstroke. So Spanish swimmer will be the favourite to take this one, and 2 Spanish swimmers stretching away in the early stages.
Yeah, we've seen this in heats earlier in the week. After Fernandez Infante and Fontcuberta Severa are drawn in the lanes next to each other. We talked about the strength and the advantage that having good domestic competition gives you, and we've seen that across a number of events and classifications this week. They have met a very in-form Leanne Smith, who will go in heat number 2, but Fernandez Infante 46.25 at the 50 meters, ahead of her teammate 49.26.
So Fernandez Infante with a little bit of an advantage here. These 2 making sure of their places. I think the top 2 are, well, certainly the top 2 should be guaranteed. It might be a little bit of a closer contest for 3rd place. Zoya Shirova going well in lane number 3, and Meccanati also in lane number 6. So Shirova under the 1 minute mark at the halfway point, and also Meccanati just over that 1 minute mark. So these 2 looking in good shape, but the Spanish swimmers, well, they are going to be tough to beat. Marta Fernandez Infante into the final few meters now, and she will touch in 1:37.77. Silver medalist in the Paralympic Games last year to the USA's Leanne Smith, but she is the reigning champion in this one. And that 1:37.77 is actually faster than she went to win the World Championship back in 2023. So Marta Fernandez Infante looking in good form. Fontcuberta Severa 1:47.05 for the other Spanish swimmer. Shirova is in for 3rd, 2:02. Meccanati in 2:08. And here's the tussle. Right up there, Van Viksmark, sorry, and Sabota. And Van Viksmark is going to get into the wall just ahead of Sabota. Let's check the times. 2:28 for the Canadian and 2:29 for the Polish swimmer. 10-second improvement for the young 14-year-old.
Now we say the advantage of being a teenager. Come in and find those quick times. Fernandez Infante looking happy with that one. She's got a bit more time in the tank. She's been a 1:32 this year already. She knows, though, like we said, this second heat has got some speed in it. And the job for the morning is always just to get through the heats and get yourself a lane in that final.
And she looked comfortable there, Fernandez Infante. And as I said, faster than she went in the World Championships 2 years ago, so she'll be happy with that time for a heat time. We'll just wait for the results to be confirmed. There we go. Spain are 1 and 2. Fernandez Infante 1:37.77. Fontcuberta Severa in 2nd, and Shirova in 3rd. They'll have a close eye on this second heat. 8 swimmers due to take the start on this second heat. Some S2 swimming alongside the S3s. Maltseva from Ukraine in lane number 1. Patricia Valley, who took a medal yesterday in the 200 freestyle in her 11th World Championships. Patricia Valley, that was her 36th World Championship medal, the Mexican. And Teresa Perales, again a multi-medaled athlete at the World Championship. She is one of the S2 swimmers. She goes in lane number 3. Leanne Smith from the USA will start as favourite, Paralympic champion from last year. Rachel Watson going in from the side. She goes in lane number 5 for Australia. Ariola Trimmy, who won that 200 freestyle in the S2 class earlier this week. She goes in 6. Sonja Sigurdardóttir for Iceland, her 8th World Championship. She goes in lane number 7. And Ebrar Bilge from Turkey, a third of the S2 swimmers. She goes in lane number 8. So again, some experience in this one. Leslie Ann Smith is the world record holder, and she set that world record just in April this year. She's a couple of world records in that April meet in Indianapolis, and the USA swimmer in great form in 2025.
Take your box.
Yeah, as Smith gets away, she's really got back to her best. She said that her freestyle was impeccable at that meet in Indianapolis. And we saw her continue that form throughout the events this week, especially the freestyle. She looked great to take the victory in the longer distance. Rachel Watson, it's kind of the meeting in the middle of these two. Watson often a great 50 freestyler. We didn't see her earlier in the week. She did withdraw. So this is the first time we are seeing Watson. It's those two clear from the others. Paralis and Trimmy in 3 and 6. They had a great tussle in the 200 meters freestyle in the S2 classification group. Both of those moved down the classifications over the years. But it is Smith who 41.68 at the halfway turn, led just over 2 seconds from Watson, with Paralis turning in 3rd, the best of the rest. But Smith looking strong through that 75 meters. She's got the lead over Watson, but they are clear of everyone else.
Yeah, looks like they are going to secure their place in that final. And Paralis clear in 3rd position. But here comes Leanne Smith now into the closing stages. World record, as you can see, 126. Championship record is 127.62. She's not too far away from that. 128.60 for the American. Good swim from Rachel Watson, 133.10 for Watson. That's an oceanic record for Rachel Watson. Better than the time when she set that oceanic record in Paris last year. Quite a bit better, actually, 4 seconds faster for Rachel Watson. But here comes Teresa Paralis. Again, as I said, one of the most experienced athletes at a World Championships. 22 World Championship medals to her name prior to coming here. She's already picked up more medals at these championship medal for her, as we said, in that 200 freestyle. And Patricia Valle in 4th position. So Paralis 205.41. Valle 211.53 for the experienced Mexican. The other swimmers now coming in. Sigurdardóttir in lane number 7 is just, I think, going to be beaten to the wall by Maltseva up there in lane number 1. 232 for the Ukrainian Maltseva, 235 for Sigurdardóttir.
Well, Bilge, oh sorry.
Carry on.
No, I was just saying Bilge is the swimmer that we are watching now. She is coming into her final 5 meters. She will look to stop the clock. Her entry time was 3:08. Just finished on exactly that, so she'll be delighted. Oh, I was going to say, we've talked about the experience. You said use the experience of this particular heat, and as you're our best statistician, Valle won this back in New Zealand in 1998. You were there, weren't you?
1998. I was there.
See?
That was the only World Championships I swam in, actually. I was due to go to 94, but I missed out through illness. And I swam in 1998. That was my only IBC World Championships, as it was known then, for
so
para
no
swimming.
excuse to get back in then. Off you go.
Oh, she's a lot younger than me.
Late entry.
I was finishing at that time. She was just starting.
Impressively though, she won that in 2:14 and she just gone 2:11. That's how quick she was back then.
Absolutely. Great performance there from Leanne Smith at the front of the field. Oceanic record for Watson. 2 Spanish over there, Sharova, Perales, Mecanati. Patricia Valley is in the final again.
Super impressive. There's no way I'd be going times I swam in 1998 by now. Well, I wasn't very old. I wasn't very old in 1998, so maybe.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Hey. We haven't talked about your age much this week.
No, I think your mic's gone a bit quiet. You might get cut off.
Maybe.
Soon. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, that's a problem with the mic. Yes. Patricia Valley, one of 2 swimmers at these championships that have done 11 world championships now. Do you remember the other one? I spoke about him earlier this week.
Give me a clue. Give me a clue.
He won. Breaststroke.
Oh! I can see him. Her teammate.
Yes.
I can see him.
Castorena.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
See the Mexicans.
Yeah, 2 Mexicans. Another Mexican in this one. See that seamless link there? Yes. Diego Lopez Diaz leading them out. Lane number 2, there's Vincenzo Boni. Denis Ostapchenko. Umut Unlu. Isaiah Sono. And Marco Tinas. Misa. S3, 100 freestyle. There's the 14-year-olds. The Peruvian team made a couple of finals. I think Rodrigo Santillan's made it into the final. They've been coached by one of my former competitors, the Peruvian team. Always good to see these old faces still involved.
Experienced faces,
Oh yeah,
I
experienced
think is
faces.
the adjective that you should use. I can start calling you old if you want.
Yeah. This is 100 freestyle for the S3. Diego Lopez Diaz, the Mexican, going in lane number 2. Vincenzo Boni in 3. Denis Ostapchenko in 4. Umut Unlu 5. Isaiah Sono in 6 for Peru. And Marco Tinamasan from Philippines in lane number 7. Again, the S3 class, it's S1 to 10, those physical impairments. So this is one of the more impaired classifications here at these championships.
Yeah, in 1 to 10, 1 has the most significant level of impairment that impacts their swimming. 10 is the least. You can see a range of strokes here. That backstroke of Ostapchenko, the defending world champion, in 4. In contrast to Unlu's freestyle with those short limbs in 5. He's going well. Going well at the top, though, it is Lopez Diaz on that freestyle. He's got a similar sort of shoulder rotation to Ostapchenko. Ostapchenko on the back. And as they come into the turn, Ostapchenko's been in good form here in Singapore. 49.29 ahead of Unlu's 50.14 with Lopez Diaz 50.47. This is another really close classification group and event. And we saw this yesterday from Ostapchenko. He did 3 lengths of backstroke on the 200 and then he switched onto his front for that final length. He's done the same here. He does then only have that use of that one arm and he swims on the sides. He comes to 75 meters, but he has got a good view of Unlu, who's trying to come back on him.
Yeah, these two just going away from the others now, making sure that qualification for the final. Ostapchenko's got a medal of every colour, gold, silver and a bronze so far in the previous events. His gold came in the backstroke, which is always his signature stroke, but finishes on his head there. Ostapchenko 1:39.40, pretty decent time. 1:38.97 was the entry time for Ostapchenko, so he's very close to that. Unlu in 1:40.99, inside his entry time. Paralympic champion there in lane number 5. And, well, Lopez Diaz in 3rd place there, 1:46.22. Lopez Diaz has a great record in this event as well. Silver medalist behind Ostapchenko in the 2023 World Championships. Set the world record back in 2018, Lopez Diaz. Remember having great championships when the event was in Mexico City in 2017, the World Para Swimming Championships.
He peaked for that home championships.
And just waiting for confirmation. I think Ostapchenko will be confirmed as the winner of that one. There we go. 139.40 for him. Unlu in second. Lopez Diaz in third position. Vincenzo Boni in fourth, just ahead of the young Peruvian Sono. 148.21 and 148.7. There's a lineup for the second heat. And we've got a couple of returning champions now into the water here, including that man, Josiah Top from Germany. He's in that red cap in lane number 3. So, Lorenus Albaya, Lekniak, Top. Lorenzo goes for Italy in lane number 4. The young Italian won that gold in the 200 freestyle yesterday. Palamarchuk goes for Ukraine in 5. Ferrer Robles from Spain in 6. And Zarate Rodriguez goes in 7 for Mexico. Well, Lorenzo had such a fast swim in the 200 freestyle. He set a European record going through the halfway point in that 200 freestyle. The Italian very close inside world record pace. So see what he can do in this 100 freestyle. World record is held by Diego Lopez Diaz, 132.69. But as expected, it's a good start from Josiah Top. It's his trademark start here for the German.
Yeah, the German going very well. He leads through 25 meters. We will expect the swimmers in the center lanes to start to reel him in. He'll use the turn well to get back ahead, and then it will be a race to the wall. Lorenzo with a very similar stroke to we saw to Ulu of Turkey in heat number 1, that high stroke rate, as he just comes up close to top. As they go into the turn, it is Lorenzo that gets the touch, 47.48, just 0.17 ahead of Palamarchuk, who used those long arms to get around the wall, and then Top 48.17 to feet. It's those 3 out in front. Ferrer Robles of Spain, he had a good start, and he'll be looking to try and make this final. He leads the rest of the field, but it is the Italian teenager Gabriel Lorenzo that leads from the experienced Sergei Palamarchuk of the Ukraine in 5.
Well, Lorenzo has won the 200s, I said, silver in the 50, so this 100 should be right in his territory, you would think, for the Italian, and he is going to hold on to this one. What a great World Championship debut he has had, Gabriel Lorenzo, the 19-year-old. 138 for him, 138.95 ahead of Palamarchuk, 140.35. Top will be in 146.82, and Ferrer Robles under the 150 mark in 149.63. So that'll be the fastest that we have seen. Ostapchenko 139.40 in the first heat, so Lorenzo will lead them through. Palamarchuk, I think, will be in third behind Ostapchenko. And Lorenzo, Unlu will be there, Lopez Diaz, Top, Boni. I think the young 14-year-old might just have scraped in there, Peruvian. But here, it's Josiah Top. What a week he's had.
Yeah,
Great
he's
start,
continued, isn't it? He's continued that form that he took into Paris. Paralympic champion. And again, like we said, sometimes then people take a lot of time off. They've got to go to a lot of events. There's a whole host of things that happen. But others, really, it becomes the platform, and it launches them into a new season and a new Paralympic cycle. And that seems to be what has happened for Josiah Top.
Gabriel Lorenzo will lead them through into that final. Denis Ostapchenko and Sergei Palamarchuk ahead of Unlu. They will go in second, third and fourth. Lopez Diaz will be there, the world record holder, top for Germany. Boni and Sono will be there, the Peruvian. As I said, one of the Peruvian staff. I didn't give him a name check, I think I should. Ernesto Garrido. Swam against him in Barcelona in '92, and he took a silver in the 50 freestyle. He was ahead of me in that time, but I beat him in the 400.
A few of these swimmers weren't even born then, you know that, right?
Quite a lot of the swimmers weren't even born then. But somewhere. Yeah, we've got all the. We're just looking at the results of a couple more events to come. There's the lineup for heat number 1. 3 Great Britain swimmers in the S14 as we just catch up a little bit of time here. Well, we've got all the results from all the World Championships. Interesting to look at some of the records, isn't it? The USA dominance of the S7 women has been incredible in the freestyle events, hasn't it?
Yeah, now sometimes you don't realise, do you, until you see them all written down next to each other, just how long it has been. And not always the same person either. They have had the diversity in the athletes that have come through, which just shows how important it is to have role models that you can look up to, and also then we talk about it, that domestic competition that drives you to perform then on the world stage.
And we've got some multiple world champions. I mean, Simone Biles going for his 5th straight world title. And it's a little bit easier these days, isn't it? Because the world champs every 2 years, whereas previously it was every 4 years and kind of 2 years in between.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it was easy to win them. I'm not sure about that. But you mean the frequency, the number that you can get. Yeah.
So you can kind of build it up a little bit easier than you used to do in the past. But, you know, nevertheless, impressive stuff if Barlam gets his 5th straight world title. Well, here are the swimmers for the 100 meters butterfly. And S14 classification swimmers with an intellectual impairment. We have 10 swimmers in this one. So we only have to lose 2 swimmers to make it to the top 8. Great Britain have a good record in this women's S14 events. Poppy Maskell, who goes in lane number 4, is the world record holder in this one. She set that world record earlier this year. And she's got 2 gold medals to her name already. Full lineup for this one: Saras de Oliveira, Indriani, Leonhardt, Shabalina, Maskell, Newman Baronius, Fiddes, Kadramata, Maleshko and Daniel Moy with the support of the home crowd. Singaporean right down at the bottom in lane number 9.
Yeah, going off to a great start. It is the Paralympic champion, Poppy Maskell of Britain. Interestingly, this is the one title that the British haven't won in this women's S14 classification group. They'll be looking to change that today as Maskell goes out to the turn, 29.88 ahead of Newman Baronius, who's a former world record holder in this one, 30.23. Shabalina just splitting the 3 Brits, 30.57 ahead of Louise Fiddes. Newman Baronius having an excellent second 50 here. She came off the turn very well. She's half a body length ahead of Maskell. Shabalina in 3 going well too.
Yeah, good swim here in the heats from Newman Baronius. Seen a couple of good swims from her this week. Medalist in the breaststroke and in the individual medley. And that is an excellent swim there in 104.55 for Olivia Newman Baronius. She will be first into that final. She will lead the way in that centre lane. Poppy Maskell, world record holder, 106.60, with Shabalina in 3rd position. Louise Fiddes will be the 3rd Great Britain swimmer into that final in 107.19. But Olivia Newman Baronius, that was an excellent swim there, looking good.
Yeah, it was a strong second 50. We talk about how in the S14 classification group, the athletes are all impacted in different ways, and Newman Baronius really did find it difficult going to Paris and having such a big arena, so much sensory overload, And I think it's fair to say it did impact her performances there. But again, like we said, experience is everything. She comes here now, she's learned from that, she's got her coping strategies, and it's good to see her enjoying this meet.
And she did take that one and only heat of the 100 butterfly S14. She will go into the final in pole position. Poppy Mascal in second. Shabalina and Louise Fides will be in those centre lanes as well. Leonhardt, Maleshko, Kajamata and Soares de Oliveira will be the ones who qualified. Local swimmer Daniel Moy, 1:14.13 for her, an improvement on the entry time from the Singaporean, but unfortunately she will not make it through to that final. Men's 100 metres butterfly heat number 1. So 2 heats of this one. 10 swimmers due to take the start in the first heat, 10 in the second. We haven't seen Alexander Hillhouse, Paralympic champion, this week. I think this is his first event, his only event, Alexander Hillhouse.
Yeah, he withdrew from some of the events earlier in the programme. It's good to see him taking to the start line in this one.
He had a great Paris Games, Hillhouse. And he'll be hoping to add another World Championship medal to the 2 that he's won already. He won a bronze in 2022, silver in 2023. So it's an upward trajectory for the Danish swimmer. Full lineup for this one: Chung from Hong Kong in 0, Kowalik, Poland in 1, Matsuda, Japan in 2, Budd from Australia in 3. Hillhouse, the Paralympic champion, goes in 4 for Denmark. Hans, the winner of the backstroke, impressively a few days ago, the Australian in 5. Yamaguchi, the winner of the breaststroke, from Japan in 6. Jonsson, Iceland, Better from Australia, and another Singaporean taken to the water, and that's Darren Chan in lane 9.
Well, it was a great start from Hans, that backstroke specialist in lane 5, using that underwater well. But Paralympic champion Hillhouse now out in the lead, going well right at the top of the picture. Kowalik for Poland in 1. And it's 25.87 to Hillhouse, 26.25 Yamaguchi. Hans just getting that third place touch, 26.42. Hillhouse leads the way as we come down the second 50. It's going to be close for qualification. They're 2 full heats here.
Yeah, to get into first position in that heat, certainly first 1 and 2 might be guaranteed, and third place is in a good shape as well. Hillhouse coming into the wall, and he will take that one. 56.02 for Hillhouse, 56.69 for Yamaguchi, and 56.74 for Hans. 5/100 separating those two. Matsuda in fourth position, 57.60, just 6/100s ahead of Declan Budd from Australia, who finishes in 5th place. Just have a look at Darren Chan, cheered on all the way by the home crowd. He finishes in 10th place, 107.00. But Hillhouse looking good at the front of the field. As I said, the only time we've seen him this week, he's been saving it up for this 100 fly, and he looked excellent there in the early stages of that one.
He did look strong, and Matsuda, Yamaguchi had a great butterfly, but Matsuda finished well. It was all tight at the turn, but a position could be vital in this, and he jumped up 3 places on that second 50.
Hillhouse, good swim from the Dane, 56.02 for him. Yamaguchi in the 56 range as well, 5/100s ahead of Hans, 56.69 and 56.74 respectively. There's the lineup for the final heat, heat number 2. Again, some big names in this one. We've got Smith, Franklin, Tomset, Bennett, Darby, Bandera, Ellard, Xavier Ribeiro, Murakami, Bernick and Algebares.
Well, this second heat is loaded. The Paralympic champion in heat number 1, but the world record holder, Gabriel Bandera, goes for Brazil in 4, and he's really found his form at these championships. He said himself in a great 2022, and then he's found it difficult but he is right up there at the turn with Ella 25.74 for Great Britain, ahead of the two Brazilians. Bandera 26.07. Xavier Ribeiro had an excellent opening leg in the freestyle relay, 26.49.
Well, Bandera looking very, very good indeed. The world record holder ahead of Will Ella, the Paralympic Games silver medalist from Great Britain. Bandera into the wall now in 55.92, just a tenth of a second faster than Hillhouse in that previous heat. Ellard in 56.32 will be comfortably into the final, and Xavier Ribeiro 56.97. Two Brazilians will be safely in. Rhys Darby 57.72. It's going to be close for Darby, I think, to make that final in fourth place.
Well, like you said, Ellard is a great sprinter. He took it out well, but Bandera's having some great second halves of the race. He's used his race skills well. He's always had good race skills, but this week it seems to all be coming together for him. And the youngster Xavier Ribeiro, the second Brazilian, really seems to be stepping things up this season. He seems to have grown. He's a very tall figure, and height's going well, but you can see Gabriel Bandera is back enjoying his swimming.
Bandera is enjoying himself here in Singapore, and he's looking in great shape. He qualifies fastest for the final ahead of Paralympic champion Hillhouse. Ellard will be there, Yamaguchi will be there, Hans has made it, Xavier Ribeiro is in, Matsuda with that good finish pushed himself into 7th. Declan Budd will be the final swimmer, just 6/100ths of a second ahead of Great Britain's Rhys Darby, who will miss out in 9th position. Well, what a final in prospect in that one. That is going to be great. Bandera looking great, Hillhouse looking fantastic, and that is the end of this heat session. One more session to go in these Toyota World Para Swimming Championships, Singapore 25. Starts at 17:30 tonight, local time here in Singapore. Here is the session we will expect tonight. Breaststroke will start us off. We will move through the sessions. Again, a range of classifications, a range of distances, and the whole championships will conclude with a very exciting mixed 4x100 metres freestyle relay, 34 points. Well, it's been another good session of heats, Liz, and we will be back tonight for the final session, 17:30 tonight, local time. So from myself, Paul Noble, and Liz Johnson, for the final time from the heat session, bye for now, and we'll see you tonight for the finals.